And with that, we are recording. Hello, everybody out there in online land, because that's pretty much where existence is these days. Everybody's quarantined in their house, as hopefully you are, because we have to look out for the least amongst us. And I am Daniel Crosier. I'm the host of COFOH Live and Undead. And today's guest, I have Midian Crosby and Joshua Adams of Monster Makeup Effects. How the hell are you guys?
We're doing all right.
Very good.
Excellent. It's, I used to come over to the shop, many years ago when you guys were based out of Denver, and you had workshops and a big studio, and you're working on projects here. But, now you are mobile, right? And, of course, you're now kind of sanctioned to Georgia. But tell us a little bit of, your background, Midian and Josh, how you guys met, got into doing makeup effects, and all that.
Cool. Well, I've always been a bit of a film nut since I was a really little kid, and when I, just to cut very long story short, I ended up realizing that you could go to school for special effects, and so I did that. Went to the Art Institute of Pittsburgh, got an industrial design degree, and started working in film while I was still in school. And that was, I graduated about 16 years ago. So I've been working in film for a little over that. And came back to Colorado and met this guy and needed his help for a couple of films I was working on. Okay. And he fell into it like it was nothing. He was.
I actually owned a dog walking business before I did anything movie related, and so I tell people that I married into it. So.
Nice.
But we started Monster Makeup FX together about 10 years ago. And we've been married just about as long as the business has been established.
What is today? Our 10-year anniversary, I think, was 4 days ago. Now that I think April 10th, 2010.
Business
anniversary. Yeah, our business anniversary was April 10th, 2010. So yeah, there you go. With everything else going on, didn't even
realize
it. Nice. So
no small feat being 10 years into business. We did take our studio from a brick and mortar in Colorado to a mobile studio that we visited 17 states. We kind of checked out film markets in numerous areas. We made some stuff in California. We kind of checked out that market, and we went to Nevada and New Mexico and Oklahoma. And ultimately, we weren't really considering Atlanta because neither of us really like the heat, and we're both not big on bugs. Being in Colorado, that's kind of a nice thing about Colorado.
Yeah.
But we kind of ended up here. And within days of being here, I transferred my driver's license and said, this is where we have to be. Wow. Unlike any other state in the U.S., Georgia welcomed us with open arms and lots of work.
Nice. That's fantastic.
So this has been the best move we could have made, for sure.
That's cool. Now, originally when you left Denver, you were in this mobile camper. Are you still able to kind of utilize that, use that as kind of the on-site studio, so to speak?
We've recently got an apartment, and the rig itself is for sale.
Okay.
It has really gotten us where we needed it to get us. And at this point, we're working out of our spare bedroom, and then out of when he's not using it, we do sometimes call on Robert Kurtzman's space and some of his people if we need a little extra space to do stuff. But both of us have been working on union projects as individuals a lot, which has been fantastic because there's just so much work here. So although we are still doing special effects for movies, I mean, that's really an independent world for us. Like the smaller films that we really love to work on still get made from Monster Makeup Effects. And we did a really cool alien centric music video for an Atlanta hip hop band. Hip hop, would you say? No, what are they?
I'd call them a rap group.
Rap group?
Yeah. What was the name of those songs? Earth Gang.
Earth Gang.
Yeah, that's right.
Earth
The name of
Gang?
the song was Up. Yeah, is the name of the song that we did the
Nice.
video for. And I think the video is online. You can look it up on YouTube.
It's a pretty good video.
Cool.
We got to do some really neat alien makeups for that one. So.
Nice. Yeah, if you can, after this, just shoot me a link so I can post it with us. That'd be a lot of fun to see. That's pretty cool. So, Josh, that's pretty interesting that you came from a background of a dog walking business.
Oh yeah. No, I never considered movies. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh, I was just gonna say, it's like it seems to be because I know and correct me if I'm wrong, but you handle with Monster Makeup Effects, you handle a lot of the business aspects, right?
I do. Yeah, I do. Like the filing taxes and financing and all that fun stuff that has to happen. Like dealing with all that administrative sort of stuff. Yeah, that's kind of my ballpark for sure.
He's also the special effects technician, and what that means for a makeup effects company is that's the guy who's behind anything that bleeds or shoots blood or even say dust hits or things like that. Now, typically a special effects technician would also do things like rain, fog, snow, but his specialty is specifically for makeup effects. So he does like a lot of specialty rigging. I call it kind of like this industrial like Lego mine.
Yeah, it's
kind of build stuff that.
Yeah,
I remember that. Yeah,
engineering and things like that. I'll build a lot of the understructures and things. If Midian needs like a puppet, I'll build the skeleton. The things that go underneath that Midian will cover in foam and skin and paint and things.
I'm more of the like sculptor and like organic shapes and color and painting and
right.
application.
Mine is more on the engineering side of things.
Okay. So
most stuff I build you can find at Home Depot.
Nice. So you guys really do complement each other then. Nice.
In all ways.
That's fantastic. I remember, when one time I visited. I think you were doing Midian like a foam latex, a series of casts. Like you were doing some kind of workshop that day, and I came by and Josh was showing off. I think some kind of rig for shooting massive,
yes, the blood gun
against the back garage door. Of course, with your Dexter-proof, plastic.
Oh yeah, I remember the plastic sheeting that we had up for a long time. That's right.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. So it's still pretty interesting making that segue into the from more business and into that creative aspect. But it sounds like you're really well suited, Josh, for making those investigative kind of exploratory surgery, so to speak.
Sure, yeah, I kind of have a foot in both worlds for sure. And I have transitioned even more now to the costuming side of filmmaking. In Atlanta, we discovered there's a much larger demand. Like if you look at the union roster for the IATSE 479 union here in Georgia, there's a lot of male special effects technicians, and so they're not that hard to find. As far as male costumers go, that's a much rarer, especially like an on-set costumer, that's a much rarer commodity.
I'd say there's less than 20.
Yeah, I mean, I found when I came to Georgia, Midian was able to get me on The Walking Dead the season following the one that she worked on.
Did she stick you in a suitcase and just walk you onto set?
Well, yeah, I mean, it happened almost that easily, you know. So she was not available, and they called and they wanted her back, and she said, "Well, I'm not available for that, but my husband does roughly the same stuff that I do." You know, I kind of had a background with doing some zombies and things for Zombie Crawl in Denver and things that you and us had worked on, and so I kind of stepped into that role, and lo and behold, there's a much greater demand for male costumers here in Georgia, and so it was kind of one of those things. It was like, well, I guess I'm a costumer now. So and that was a couple years ago. I think.
Yeah,
nice.
And he's so good at it. I mean, he has like a kind of a photographic memory, and so
I don't know that it's actually.
I don't know if it's actually that, but it's pretty remarkable. Sometimes we have like 300 background. And, you've got to get all these people dressed. And he remembers, like, almost everybody's name. And once he's seen their sizes, he can tell you what their sizes are days later.
It's not exact. Like she's flattering me a little bit. But,
I've held up clothes, and I've said, like, do you remember who wore this? Because the tag isn't on it. And even though it looks the same, like, all the Walking Dead zombies wear pretty much about the same thing. Right. He could tell me who it was, so it's actually suited him really well. He's got a really high attention to detail, and works really well with lots of people. So.
That's fantastic. It sounds like you guys have carved out niches for yourselves, even in that market, because Georgia's booming now in the film and TV industry. But obviously Walking Dead is shooting there, and are all those series shooting there? Because I think there's like 3 now, right?
No, Fear the Walking Dead shoots in Texas, and the other one is Virginia.
The third one I think is going to be like Virginia or West Virginia.
Good, the Moonshine State. Good.
Yeah, so I know it's just north of Georgia, but I don't know exactly why they chose necessarily to film that third series in that location. I'm sure it had something to do with tax incentives or something like that.
And scenery. You want to look at something a little different.
Right.
They've been doing the Georgia countryside for 10 years, 10 seasons. So
It gets a little thin. It's like, come on, guys. I'm sure you guys can steal a car, still has gasoline, and go someplace else. There's
exterior road, exterior field.
That's a lot of it. Although they got to go to the beach last year, that was horrible.
Oh yeah, drat.
The beach in the summer in Georgia is not a place you want to be.
Yeah, true. Yeah, I'm sure that's the humidity is just got to be nasty.
Oh, brutal.
Yeah.
And The Walking Dead is probably the hardest show either of us have ever worked on. And anybody that works on it would tell you this. It is. Yeah. It's hot. It's hard. It's it's a lot of really good people coming together to. I mean, it kind of feels. I've said this before. It feels like. How indies kind of like band together and like do really hard stuff, and they're really proud of the work that they do. That's kind of the feeling of The Walking Dead, but with like better catering and better paychecks. Yeah. So
that's cool. Yeah, and I imagine that a lot of those actors that you're working on too, to get any type of makeup effects, prosthetics, or stuff in that humidity. What can you do to kind of counter that, or is it just constant maintenance?
Now I do have to say that I did not actually work on any of the special makeup effects on The Walking Dead. They've got a pretty tight crew, and was not able to kind of like make it onto that team. I did work in costumes, and I made a lot of zombie costumes, and I did some work on the makeup team, the beauty makeup team.
Oh, okay.
So. But I have done quite a few makeup effects on folks here in Georgia, and it really is, it's about proper conditioning of the skin beforehand. There's a lot of products we can put down beforehand to kind of mitigate sweat and kind of make things stick a little bit better. But then it's maintenance as well. So those two things together, you know, it's all about getting it on there, stuck as hard as possible, so that it'll actually still come off at the end of the day, though. So
Nice.
that's really
epoxies.
Yeah, right. There you go. It's super glues.
You're not getting this off until you shed a layer of skin. Yeah, don't have me on a set. That's bad. I've got that. Wow, so that's pretty exciting. Kind of going back too. I remember some of the projects that you were working on in Denver, like Eat, and then like in Colorado Springs, that area, Cop Car. You know, what was, if you guys can think back, what was the first project that you needed to, you know, that second hand, Josh's hand, to help on? Do you recall?
It was
that?
Eat.
Yeah, that was Eat.
Eat was his first one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
No kidding. That was 10 years ago?
Yeah, that's just about right.
Isn't that crazy?
Oh my God. I thought that one came out like in 2014 or something.
Well, we've been together. Well,
no,
that was maybe about 9 years ago.
That was the first movie I worked on.
Yeah.
Wow. That's intense.
Crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Time does fly, doesn't it?
Yeah. Yeah. And you were, because a lot of those, if I remember right, Midian, you were showing me some of the, like, like some of the stuff that had to be eaten in camera, you know, as far as like body parts and stuff, was like chocolate, right?
Gummy bears.
It was gummy bears.
Gummy bears and strawberry jam,
And
I think.
strawberry jam, yeah.
You used for that one. Too.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. I got to ask, what is the process for casting something like that? Because you got to make it look like body parts, right? Or is it just the gore?
I mean, just mostly the gore. As far as some of the pieces that she would at least bite and chew, all the prosthetic pieces in that film were made from gelatin.
Okay.
So other than it having, you know, powdered colorants in it for, you know, makeup kind of colorants, it's fairly innocuous as far as that goes. So it's not something that's, if she gets it in her mouth, it's going to do anything terrible. She just wouldn't swallow those pieces. But if we really needed her to like chew on stuff, that was going to be the gummy bears and stuff.
Oh, right.
And then for the wrap, we did make a white chocolate, or for the premiere, white chocolate toes for the cast and crew. That's from the same mold that we had the toes done in.
Nice.
It
Smells like feet.
Yeah, and so I did mold
like
those
heaven.
Food safe silicone. So yeah.
Oh, that's so cool. Yeah, it's been a long time since I've seen that movie, but I think it used to be on Amazon Prime, I think, at one point.
I think it's still there.
It's there.
I think it's up there.
I'll have to dig around for that. Well, I mean, we've got your cop car. I mean, that was fun. I think we saw you at the Colorado Springs premiere, I think.
Yes.
That's where I saw it on the big screen. And man, that was really cool. It's just like, holy shit. There's my friends. They did the you know, some of the blood work and stuff, and so that was a lot of fun to see that. And then
he went on to do Spider-Man.
Right.
The director, John Watts.
Yeah. I think he's supposed to be doing the third one here pretty soon.
We're fingers crossed. I'll be doing costuming on that one. We'll
Oh.
They're supposed to be coming down to Atlanta to film at least part of that. So
okay.
I don't know if we're supposed to say that.
Anyway, it's all hearsay. Josh is all packed full of painkillers and stuff. He doesn't know what he's talking about.
Yeah. I think that's already out there. I know that has been in like the Atlanta Journal-Constitution. Like
there you go.
Doing Spider-Man 3 down here, at least part of it. I know they're doing it in other locations as well. So.
Nice. Yeah. So have you been able to work on the previous Spider-Man movies or no?
No, we didn't. We haven't really connected with that team of people until this year. I mean, we've only been here for a couple of years, and although we've met a lot of people in film and we worked on a lot of shows, it takes a while to kind of like get around and get a reputation in a new city and start working with some people. But it's all about spreading the love.
Yeah, most definitely. Yeah, it's networking, making friends. I mean, that stuff is key, and kind of keeping that that tight knit working environment going as well. I was going to say, it's just like I heard today that they finally confirmed that Sam Raimi is going to be directing the next Doctor Strange movie. So,
oh, cool.
Yeah, they mentioned that that's probably the case, and that he's actually working on it, but nobody made any actual announcements. I guess they did today. It's like, good, because we need a little bit of good news.
Mm-hmm. Hopefully it comes to Atlanta. I mean, the only place really competing with Atlanta right now is Canada.
Okay.
I mean, of course, Hollywood has a lot, but not. I've heard it's bigger here in a lot of cases.
Yeah, they do. I mean, obviously, Atlanta is they're competing with LA. They're competing with
New York,
Vancouver, and Toronto. Obviously, they do a lot of those here, and then London. But I mean, a lot of these big movies, they shoot them all over the world too.
Yeah,
so it's hard. It's hard to say. They might come here for part of them,
right?
Too. So
they might be here for 3 weeks and then go off to Hawaii or Peru.
Well, and speaking of Hawaii, and I might be wrong about this, but you were mentioning that you worked on the recent Jumanji film. Was it costuming or was it effects or both?
That was costuming. That was probably some of the most fun in costuming I've ever had. I got to work with a lot of rented costumes from like way back. Like we had stuff from the first Pirates of the Caribbean and like Waterworld, and like we were putting these like really eclectic kind of like crazy outfits together. Working with huge backgrounds, some of the coolest stunt stuff. I worked a lot with the stunt people, and they are just amazing. I cannot believe there is not an Academy Award for stunt people yet, because they really make these movies. It's incredible what they do.
Yeah, very very much so. Wasn't there recently like a petition to get stunt work into the Academy Awards?
Yep. Yeah, it's kind of an ongoing thing that they're trying to make happen.
It's an ongoing fight. I'm sure that even with a petition, something like that, it will take several years. Of a lot of the feedback that I've heard from people is, well, how do you classify that, and how do you categorize, like, what's the best stunt or what's the best this or that? It's like, well, they'd figure it out. I'm sure there's some criteria that somebody could figure out that could measure that and give some of these folks the recognition they deserve for some of the amazing work that they do. The movies we love just would not be the same. The movies and television shows we love would not be the same without their work. So
it's amazing.
But they're one of those few technicians of the craft that for each film they're putting their lives on the line. They could do is get that recognition and get that plastic golden spray painted statuette.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah,
I've seen background actors break a leg literally from just falling off of a platform. And I don't mean to laugh, but I mean it's like some of these stunt people do so much more than that, on a daily basis, that it's unheard of that they don't get some recognition for what they do.
I mean, they get paid well, but thank goodness, because they are risking their lives.
Well, and if they don't have that infrastructure in place, a good paycheck and great health insurance too, you know, if they miss, you know, suddenly they're out like for 6 months of work. You know,
Or
just
more.
just
Oh,
at the end. Yeah, depends on the extent. I was watching something. I think it was on the like Corridor Crew, and they invite stunt people and they review like stunt, you know, the stunt person, you know, that's there with them. They'll review their own stunts and stuff. It's like, I had a bad day there, and that was a really good day, but it wasn't for Beth. She broke her leg, and I had to, you know, be ready for set the next day, and she went off to the hospital for like 6 months of you know, being on the mend. I was like, oh my gosh, and what a tough movie to have to break a leg for too. Dark Phoenix.
Yeah, man. Holy cow.
Yeah, but you know, and then occasionally you get, and I don't know why, but no, I do know why. Yeah, you see those like Tom Cruise movies. He's almost 60, and the only time I like watching him is when I know he's broken something. So like the last Mission Impossible, there's that scene where he just like impacted his foot from a jump and completely broke his ankle, and you see where it bends. I was like, oh, yeah, dude, just let somebody else do that for you, please.
Gosh. Yeah.
Because even that, like somebody like that, if he breaks something, that shuts down the entire production. And then
Oh, yeah.
everybody, you know, I don't know the politics, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I'd imagine, you know, stuff goes on furlough until, you know, production can pick up. So that means a lot of new paychecks for people.
Yeah, for sure.
So, but anyway, yeah. So it sounds like you guys have been you know, living some pretty exciting lives since last I've seen you, and one thing that I thought was always, you know, really cool that you guys did in Denver was doing all these classes and workshops. Is that still something that you're able to continue out there?
I've done some classes. Now, one of the thing about, you know, the Georgia versus Colorado kind of thing is Colorado's kind of very separated from anything. And so there's probably what, 2 people maybe in the whole region that was teaching.
Mm-hmm.
And so getting a good group of people for a class was not very difficult. And the costs, I mean, we worked really hard at it just to get the people that we did have, but doing those classes out there was kind of a service that was really in demand. Now here you have a lot of very, very talented makeup artists and effects artists, and then you have a lot of people that are very interested in it. Mm-hmm. But because there's so much of it around, and because I think maybe it's the South, I don't know, there's something else about it here. Things that, for example, people would be willing to pay like $1,000 for in Colorado, they don't really want to spend $30 on here. Because there's a lot of educational things and just free seminars, and then free is just everywhere on the internet, you know, YouTube and everything else that you're just competing with that's free. Okay. It's very difficult. And then you've got just the names. If you have somebody that's worked on, you know, some of the biggest stuff in the industry versus, you know, I've worked on some things, but it hasn't been, you know, anything that's life-shattering. And a lot of it's I'm very proud of, but it's not, you know, household name recognition. And so that makes a difference as well. And so it's a different market here. And not only that, but teaching in Colorado was kind of a necessity for a small business like ours. Yeah. Here, it's something I do as an extra to help people. Whereas it's not necessary. It's, you know, it's kind of like, oh, I'll teach this weekend, but then I don't have a weekend. So, you know, it's kind of like, you know, a service more than earning a living.
Yeah.
which is, part of out of a major market that you have to do in Colorado. So not as much, but I still like it.
It's I mean, one thing I guess that I can speak to in terms of coming to Atlanta, especially, I felt this the first day I went to set on The Walking Dead because I had gone and I had worked on The Walking Dead studio property for like 3 weeks before I ever went to set. And then one day my supervisor said, okay, well, you're ready to go. Like, get out the door. And I'm like, oh, okay. So I followed our little crew onto set, and we jumped out of the van and I walked onto set, and I thought, oh my God, I'm so out of my league. Like it was a big jump to go from everything I'd seen and done in Denver.
Yeah.
And then to step onto this set, like, oh, this is the real deal. And then even more recently, I've worked on some even larger shows than that, where it's become clear that there's yet another level beyond what I've even grown comfortable with. And so it's one of those things I've had to learn that, the market is so much different here that we didn't even really know what life would be like when we landed here in Atlanta and started working on some of these union shows. We didn't necessarily understand that we'd be like a Monday through Friday sort of. It would be a Monday through Friday sort of gig. You definitely are going to bleed over into Saturdays most weeks.
Yeah.
But it's kind of a Monday through Friday gig for the most part. You kind of jealously guard what little personal time you typically do have.
Okay.
And we're talking like 12 to 15-hour days if you're working on something.
Yeah, and I mean sometimes more.
Sometimes
it's even worse than that. But
Wow.
at least there again, you're getting compensated. You're working under a union contract, and so you're getting time and a half and all the other things that go along with that. But
Nice.
I mean the market is different, and so there's also, I think, more avenues for people to break into the film and television industry. I feel like classes and things did well in Colorado because that was a way for people to, get closer to being in the industry, and that was a kind of a clear and obvious path in most cases. Here,
some people, their first film is a Marvel film.
Yeah, you go and you can work in costumes, you can work in grip and electric, you can work in hair makeup, you can work in the AD department, and it's really just up to you as far as who you want to put in the time with.
Yeah. Wow.
Now that's, we're coming at this with some experience, and, me having transferred my union membership and him having joined the union. So there is kind of a union aspect to this. Although we are, Georgia is a non-union enforced state.
It's a right to work.
It's a right to work state. So if they want to hire you, they can. But there's definitely kind of a union strength here that is fairly well regulated.
Nice. That's
especially when so many of the crew members work within the same union.
So it sounds like the transition from Colorado to Georgia is quite the humbling one.
Yeah, it definitely was. Absolutely.
For sure.
That's cool. So with the hours that you put in, and being that your personal time is so very appreciated, and unfortunately you probably have too much personal time now because
we have a lot of
lockdown, right? But you're still fans of not only the stuff that you work on, but all these other films and TV shows. We were talking a little bit earlier, some of the stuff that you guys have been able to consume with your eyes and your ears. What is it that you've really fallen in love with recently?
I thought the platform was really good. but I don't know if I've fallen in love with it.
Okay.
What?
I thought In the Tall Grass was better than The Platform. I like that one more.
Okay. Nice.
In terms of consumption with eyes and ears, I actually have just finished reading all of the available books of East of West from Image Comics.
Nice.
Don't know if you've read that one, but yeah, that's really good. I've really enjoyed it.
I started that years ago. Remind me who the writer is.
I do not even remember off the top of my head, but
I can't remember if it was Jonathan Hickman or if it was
I think that sounds right. I think that sounds
Matt Fraction or Ed Brubaker. It's got to be one of those three.
I think it's Jonathan Hickman. I honestly.
Okay, because I was really going.
Forgive me if I'm honestly giving out that wrong information too.
It's okay. I'm probably wrong. Hopefully, yeah. If anybody out there, when we post this, when they watch this, you know, they realize like you both are wrong and roll our eyes. Please correct us. But yeah, I remember starting to read that, and that was really fun and intriguing. But that was years ago when it started coming out. And I think that started coming out after like Brian Vaughn was doing Saga. That was also really engrossing. I only got so far.
I think I've read the first book of that one. So
yeah, that's something I really do miss is nowadays when it comes to like comic books or novels, all I'm reading is whatever my friends are doing. You know, I go out and I'm like, you know, I support them, but that's all I've got time for because I'm usually organizing an event or, you know, drawing the next comic book that I'm working on, and that's pretty much it. That's probably enough. But
we really loved Watchmen.
Oh, the Watchmen series, yep.
The TV series was fantastic. I had no expectations on that. Well, I shouldn't say that. I had very little expectations. You know, I wasn't like the movie was okay. I mean, the graphic novel, the original, is it's near and dear to me. That was, you know, just a masterful, you know, work of fiction. And then so the TV series is like, oh my God, what's going on now? It's just like, oh.
It was different. It was different.
I absolutely enjoyed it. I loved the little, you know, to me, you know, and I don't mean this in a condescending way, but it started, you know, I thought it was going to be like, oh, maybe this is like a fan fiction thing that that the writer just wanted to go on. And but that, I think that first episode where you're it's the Tulsa Massacre. Holy crap, you know, that's a piece of history that I had no idea. And you know, I mean, that was Tulsa, Oklahoma, right? I mean, that's not too far away from Denver, Colorado.
No, certainly not.
It was actually so tragic. So I was kind of, yeah, I was pretty distraught after I watched that, and it's just like, man, all right, I gotta. So I paid attention to the entire series and ate it up, and it was amazing. So I don't think it doesn't sound like they're wanting to do another season. And
no, yeah, we've heard that they didn't go ahead with another season for whatever reason they decided, but yeah.
Which is sad because we both wanted to work on that,
Mm-hmm.
and we were working on other things, and
we tried hard to get on that one.
We tried hard, but yeah, it didn't happen.
I could see the two of you trying to dress, you know, Dr. Manhattan.
Yeah, there you go.
We
Yeah,
actually have
Sure.
matching
Little Blue Man Group thing.
Yeah, that's right.
Oh, look at that! That's cool. Oh man, matching set.
Yeah,
That's the wedding ring.
Super
Isn't it?
fan.
that's right. That's right.
That's great. Yeah. Well, and yeah, I mean, Dr. Manhattan for season 2 would not necessarily be our, you know, the Dr. Manhattan we know.
That's right. Absolutely.
Is Regina, right? I think it's Regina King is the name.
Regina King.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, spoilers. Hey, whoever hasn't seen it.
That's right. Yeah. Yeah. One of the, I mean, we didn't, like I said, we didn't work on it, but we know a few people that did, and we heard that one of the more difficult things that they had to do was keep track of all the little yellow masks that all the cops wore. So from a costuming standpoint, they had quite a few of those, and they had to keep track of them. But unfortunately, it wasn't something that we had to do.
Oh, that's cool. Hey, one thing came to mind in regards to working in Georgia and the humidity. You know, we were talking about, you know, having to do maintenance on makeup, beauty makeups and stuff like that, and everything like that. But also, like, when it comes to, like, you know, latex, foam latex, silicone, and everything like that, which are expensive as hell. How does that stuff, you know, set up in that humidity and that altitude?
Well, it's a little different. Definitely Colorado is better for all of it. I've had a higher failure rate with foam here, just trying to adjust to that. And a lot of epoxies and silicones will set up just a little bit slower with the heat and humidity. So it's definitely adjustment. You know, Colorado is just so perfect with that.
Yeah,
so
it's dry.
Yeah, and so just having, especially with foam latex, having an air-conditioned space to run it in is actually really important.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
So, but I don't think let's go ahead and talk about like some of the other stuff that we worked on, because I'm sure a lot of people.
Yeah.
Who are these guys? What have they done?
Yeah, these guys.
Just in the last 2 years, it's
like,
been awesome.
Captain Fantastic is you know, because it was the deer, right? As one of the opening scenes in that movie, and we watched it, and then we saw your credits, and I was like, what the fuck? I know these people. Yeah, and I think it was very specific in the credits on the special effects shot, and it had to do with the deer. And then I went onto your Facebook. It's like, motherfucker, there's some little off, you know, like detail shots of stuff, you know, that shot is like, oh my god, you were in the Viggo Mortensen movie. That's awesome.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, one of my favorite videos I have on my phone is when we were testing the deer rig. We had it rigged up just to bleed, and I just had it on a switch, basically. So I just kept flicking the switch on and off, and so this deer would just bleed, stop, bleed, stop.
Well, that was fun.
That's awesome. And that was after Cop Car, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Oh, just since coming to Georgia, you know, Walking Dead was kind of the opening for both of us. Nice. Into kind of this world. But since then, you know, Jumanji 2 and Zombieland 2,
Haunting of Hill House.
Haunting of Hill House.
Oh, cool! Yeah,
big one.
That's one that still creeps me out.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Obviously the hauntings and the ghosts. I mean, it's very, very cool and very clever stuff. But you know, the story-wise, the themes that those kids are going through. That's it's the personal dramas that are just creepy as hell.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely. Mm-hmm. And that was a big one for us too, because you know, we got to work with Robert Kurtzman Makeup Effects, and he's a legend in the industry, and getting to work with him and his team has been a highlight of moving to Atlanta.
Nice. He's also super nice.
He's also super nice.
Good. Yeah, I mean, he was kind of a hero of yours, right, Midian?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I grew up with, you know, Evil Dead 2 and you know, a lot of these films that he's worked on, and it's just kind of like one of those things where you're just sitting there and you're like, holy shit, like I'm working, like, you know. And we recently last year got to work on was it last year? I think so. A Bigfoot design by Kurtzman.
That was 2 years ago.
2 years ago for a West Virginia Lotto ad. that was just a huge amount of fun. After doing Hoax, the one thing that we didn't get to do on Hoax was build the Bigfoot. And so this was kind of like one of those things I've always wanted to build a Bigfoot.
Yeah.
And getting to build a Bigfoot for Kurtzman was like, what? So, and then getting to do, like, I sculpted the hands and the feet, you know, and be able to sculpt for a studio like that is just super cool.
That's
awesome. And making a fursuit and making specialty. One of the cool things too that a lot of people may not realize is that a lot of special effects skills come in high regard as far as a lot of costuming elements. Recently worked on Stargirl in the super suits division. And that's like that's a level up from like the standard costume, where you're actually working with different types of you know, vinyls and leather work, and then there's, you know, so specialty costuming is kind of an offshoot of that, where you can do a lot of like molding, sculpting, casting, specialty costume work like we did for at Kurtzman's for the Jay and Silent Bob reboot. We helped build the Iron Bob suit, and so a lot of that was like fabrication, and we do a lot of fabrication at the studio, and so like you do need those special effects skills for a lot of costume work, and so it's really not that far off. The other thing that I've done a fair amount of that is in high demand here is what they call aging and dying. And that's making new clothes look like they're not new anymore. And it's a specialty. I mean, it's definitely something that takes a special hand and a good eye for detail. And I've had a lot of fun with that. It's kind of like, you know, playing with mud and stuff, but on clothes.
That's cool. That's really cool. That's something that a lot of people don't really realize. But like for example, anytime they make a new Batman suit, like a lot of that ends up getting cast in latex, and it's got to be sculpted. You know, armor too, not just the cap and cowl. And I think when they were doing the first Iron Man, that was Stan Winston. You know, that built like the actual suit, and then some of the elements ended up being swapped out for like CG, but it all started there.
Yep. It's still happening with a lot of those. It's the special effects studios that are making the suits.
Yeah.
So.
Oh my God.
I can't speak to exactly which movie or movies I've been working on, but it's kind of in that same realm. And so it's the same sort of thing. It's like you see the sculpted, molded, cast components of these costumes, and then they marry them to the tailored portions with the fabric and these different components that they make in these amazing costume construction workshops. That you walk in and you see these suits, and it's like, oh wow, this is the real deal. This is cool.
Yeah.
So
wow, that's cool. That's pretty cool. So when you're able to actually get back to work, and after all this lockdown stuff, is there a project that you're hoping to work on, or is there like a makeup or a costume or something that you would love to do later on in the future?
Well, I have a dream project I've been talking about for years, and that would be to do a live action Thundercats adult movie.
Yes,
like R-rated Thundercats would be like fucking phenomenal. Like
So that's not CG blood, Dan.
That's right.
That's right.
And I would want to team up with Dave Elsey, who's one of the best like fur people. He did Wolfman, worked with Wolfman, and
the Benicio del Toro one, or Yes, the Benicio
Del Toro.
Not Del Toro.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, yeah.
Okay.
The
because I think that was like
you're thinking of Guillermo del Toro. We're talking about.
I'm thinking of the actor Benicio del Toro.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, that's the one. And then the new X-Men all those ones. So
Oh,
and the
like
Beauty and the Beast. So he's like the best like hair like person. So
nice.
I would love to team up with him and do a live action Thundercats. That would be super sweet.
And you've directed your own short films, haven't you, Midian?
I have. I actually just put together my first director's reel, and I'm about to make that public.
Congrats.
So
is that online, or will that be online soon?
it will be in probably the next week.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool. So even though you guys are at home, you're still plugging away. You're getting work done.
She is.
A little.
Josh, what are you doing?
I'm playing video.
You working on your pony cake?
I had to wake up from a nap to do this interview.
Don't worry, Josh. After this, you go back to sleep. It's fine.
Okay, fair enough. That's the only reason I agreed to do the interview, is because I could go back to sleep after.
Yeah, exactly. You didn't even have to show up and wear pants. How great is that?
That's right. I don't even have pants on at this point.
Excellent. Neither do I. I come home and pants come off.
That's right.
It's free time.
Pants optional.
That's right. There you go.
Oh my gosh, that's great. Yeah. I'm looking for. Midian, I don't think I've ever actually seen any of the short films that you've directed. Can you talk a little bit about those?
Sure. The first thing I ever directed was a music video for a friend of mine in Pittsburgh.
Cool.
And that was a zombie music video called Video Dead for a band called This Wicked. And it's for a good friend of mine. She died in a car accident before the video was done. And so that was kind of a tragic element to it. But it's kind of still a bit of a love letter to her, because she's obviously the main focus of the film as the lead singer. And so my reel will have a little piece of that at the end. But also directed a film that's available on our website, monstermakeupfx.com, called Juice. And a guy wakes up in the middle of the night to get some juice, and something stings him that's hatched in the basement. And terrible things ensue. And it's only a 3-minute horror short. We did it one December when we didn't have anything going on, and I just found a competition, got some friends together, and we just did it. Cool. And it was definitely, I definitely got the director's bug from that one, for sure. And then kind of took it up a notch with a sci-fi horror shorts. I always go back to kind of body horror. Body horror is my thing. It's what freaks me out. Our bodies are just so crazy and weird. I'm a big Cronenberg fan. That's where a lot of my early horror exposure came from. So it's either creatures or body horror. I'm not really into like the slasher stuff. So that's really where my kind of heart lies, is with our disgusting, horrible bodies. And so I made this sci-fi horror short. Is a collaboration with Shannon Smith. I don't know if you know her. She's in Denver. And sci-fi is kind of rough, right? We're trying to do space and all this stuff, but NASA it was a NASA competition. And so we were actually able to use NASA footage. And so that obviously, like, production value helped us out quite a bit. And that was a little bit more difficult, because we bumped up our budget to like $600, not including food or whatnot, but that was what we had. And we actually built a set and had numerous actors and makeup effects and dialogue and a bit of a plot. So it was a bit more to it. And then since then, I have kind of directed the special effects elements of a couple of films. A short, Sister Mary, which is on the 1031 Part 2 film that's available on Prime. So I directed some aspects of that, as well as a a section of the FX sections of a film called She Walks the Woods. So that's something I'm trying to help with, newer filmmakers that may not know how to shoot their special effects as effectively. Since I've been doing it for so long, it kind of I do negotiate that if possible at the beginning, so that I can be there and have an authority to say, I think it'd be going to be better if you shoot it from this angle,
right,
or this way, so that we actually get to see those effects. Because a lot of times new filmmakers will shoot an effects scene and they can't even show it because they didn't light it right, or and it just helps to have somebody with some knowledge to do that. So that's kind of the next step, is to do a bit more directing.
That's cool. One of the last things, probably start winding down a little bit, but one of the last things I remember was you did a couple head explosions for Ryan Polisky for the Motel London 2. And I remember being on set that day. You guys were setting up. I don't remember what I was doing. I was probably getting in the way, because that's what I'm very good at. But I remember that first head explosion, and I yelled. Ryan poor Ryan, because he's running audio, and he's just like turning to me and just like, I'm gonna fucking kill you, because now he can only use the audio from the second one when that goes. So, right.
But poor Ryan. Like, I remember we were doing the melting face for one. I think it was Motel London 2. Right. That we were doing like a whole melting face. We had worked forever to get like this wax head built, made, had these yarn bits that were all disgusting in it, and like we had worked on the perfect way to get it melting. On the day, we're like, we've got the lights set up, we've got everybody in there with like hair dryers and heat guns and all this stuff, melting this, and halfway through the effect, I kick one of Ryan's main lights over. He yells, "Damn it," right in the middle of the take, and has to reset the light in the middle of the take, and we can't stop because this thing's melting.
Right.
It's a lockdown shot that's being filmed stop, like what is it, the stop motion kind of?
I think it was
time lapse. You're doing a time lapse.
Oh my God.
Oh,
Lord, that's hilarious.
I still feel bad about that.
Well, but the finished project was fantastic. I absolutely, especially love those scenes.
I'll tell you what. To this day, though, it doesn't matter what set I'm on. I am always watching my feet around cords and cables and lights and everything else. That was as much learning as I needed on that lesson.
Me too. I've got big clunky feet, and I'm very, very awkward. So pretty much I run it. If there's something standing, I will run into it, and I will yell out of excitement, because I'm just stupid like that. So man, but that's and then I mean, you guys also helped out with the Horror House Fest, pinball tournament, that stuff, because I think. Yeah, you guys did that makeup on me. It was some kind of blue creature or something like that. Yeah,
that was fun. Yeah,
some fish alien thing. So that was pretty fun, and you guys. I mean, you guys really do turn out for the community and stuff. So it's pretty sweet. Well, I'm glad that you guys are doing so well in Georgia, and I can't wait to see what your next projects are. So. But definitely, email me those links and stuff, and then when you get your director's reel done, let me know so I can repost it and everything. But it was great to chat with you guys. And one more time, your website so people can go and check out more of your stuff.
MonsterMakeupFX.com. And keep an eye out for Sin Eater with Bill Mosley. We just wrapped on that recently. Yeah. And that was a Colorado film. So shout out to some Colorado filmmakers out there. Still bringing us back, still working on the cool stuff. And as well as, what are those films coming out? Got to work on Lovecraft Country. So definitely check that out when it comes out. Nice. And
on HBO.
Stargirl and DC Stargirl. And Tomorrow War That's another one with
Chris Pratt.
So, any films that
Let's
you
see,
want to?
let's see. Cypher is an NBC pilot that I worked on. I don't know when that's being released. Let's see. Jumanji, that one we both worked on. That one, that one's been out for a little while.
What was the big action one that with the?
Oh, Greenland. That one with Gerard Butler. That one's a very cool one. Yeah. So check. I don't know when that one's coming out either. We wrapped this summer on it.
Cool.
But Jay and Silent Bob reboot. You can definitely check out that. You can see the Iron Bob suit in that.
Nice.
So.
I'm glad to see that you guys worked on that because Elise and I watched that twice in one day, and oh my God, that got me in the feels. So the whole mother-daughter stuff. My God, yeah, I was sitting there bawling twice. It's like, come on. I'm definitely my mom's child.
Hey, that's all right.
You didn't get to talk about your dream project. I totally stole that question.
My dream project. There's, right now, to work on the new Spider-Man movie would be a dream project for me.
Nice.
The new Black Adam movie is supposed to come to Atlanta as well. So would work on that
with Dwayne Johnson.
With The Rock, yeah. So, I mean, I've kind of started like drifting toward those superhero shows, and I found that's a pretty good fit for me. So
especially 15 minutes from Pinewood.
Yeah, we're 15 minutes away from Pinewood Studios in Atlanta, which is where they film a good majority of like the superhero Marvel shows. Disney Plus has been doing a lot of filming over there, and so we're very close to a kind of a hub and an epicenter for a lot of that. So my dream project is anything that is a huge project that's 15 minutes away from my house too. So
nice. Yeah. Well, hopefully Midian will hire you on for Thundercats.
That's right. Yeah, ideally. Yeah.
Yeah, you're gonna have to be nice to her, okay? She's a tough cookie.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. Depends on what kind of compensation package she offers me. We'll see.
Yeah, true. Yeah, ask for health insurance.
Health benefits are important these days, so they say.
Yeah, very much so. Especially right now when people need them most.
Yeah,
that's right. That's right.
All right. Well, thanks so much, Midian and Josh, for chatting it up with me today. It was great to see you. I'm glad you guys are doing awesome. Hopefully, we can do it again soon.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Daniel.
Yeah, thank you.
It's good talking with you.
Good talking with you too.